Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, daring treasure hunters and passionate coin enthusiasts, to the place where everyday change transforms into history, adventure, and possibly life-changing fortune. Today we're traveling into the heart of American coinage history as we uncover the incredible secrets behind the United States of America Washington $quarter from 1980 with mint mark, a coin so familiar and ordinary that you've probably held hundreds over the years without giving it a second thought. But what if I told you that lurking among those seemingly common quarters could be a hidden rarity so valuable, collectors around the world are willing to pay a small fortune for it? That's right, one sparkly example of this 1980 Washington quarter could turn a humble coin into the ultimate treasure you've been hunting for, especially if you're sharp enough to spot the correct details that elevate it from pocket change to a prized collectible worth more than you ever imagined. Let's step into the world of the Washington quarter. A coin first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1980, this coin had become as American as baseball and apple pie, jingling in millions of pockets across the nation. On the obverse of the coin is the powerful profile of the first President of the United States, George Washington himself, staring to the left with unwavering strength. Above him arches the nation's devotion with the word liberty, while just to the right we see the year 1980 anchoring it firmly in a decade of cultural change, technological innovation, and economic shifts. Below his chin rests the national motto "In God We Trust," yet the real secret lies in the small mint mark that sits just beside it, often overlooked by casual eyes. Those tiny letters, D, S, or P, represent the minting location, Denver, San Francisco, or Philadelphia. And within these mint-marked varieties are where some truly jaw-dropping rarities were born. Flip this coin over and you'll find a spectacular reverse design full of American pride. A mighty bald eagle spreads its wings impressively across the center, fierce and regal, clutching arrows of defense while resting upon a bundle of olive branches symbolizing peace. Above the eagle stand the words United States of America and the proud motto E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Beneath the eagle is the denomination $quarter. Millions of people use these coins to buy groceries, movie tickets, gasoline, and bubble gum, yet few realize that certain mint-marked 1980 quarters were struck with subtle mistakes or uncommon characteristics that went completely unnoticed until years later, when sharp-eyed collectors began uncovering rare varieties that today have become the stuff of legend. While the average 1980 quarter saw years of harsh circulation and now appears dull, scratched, and worn from countless transactions. Across the country, a tiny number escaped that fate. These exceptional examples were preserved in stunning mint state condition, gleaming surfaces, razor-sharp details in Washington's hair, crisp feather lines in the eagle's wings, and mint marks struck clearly and powerfully without blurring. Among these brilliantly preserved survivors are rarities that may boast double-die obverse lettering, repunched mint marks, or striking anomalies that occurred only during a brief window of production. These variations are often barely visible to the untrained eye, a faint doubling on the date, an unusual mint mark alignment, or microscopic imperfections that make serious collectors go wild with excitement. Mint officials estimate that only a tiny handful of these 1980 mint-marked varieties survive in high-end conditions, making them outrageously desirable and pushing their value far beyond that of normal circulated quarters. The hunt for these powerhouse coins is intense. Coin dealers regularly pay huge premiums for uncirculated mint-marked 1980 Washington quarters that still exhibit full luster and exceptional eye appeal. Auction houses have witnessed fierce bidding wars over these rare varieties, especially when certified by top grading companies. Meanwhile, collectors, from veteran experts to newcomers armed with magnifying glasses, obsessively search bags of quarters, bank rolls, garage sale jars, coin show tables, and inherited stashes from relatives, clinging to hope that they'll uncover one of these legendary specimens. What makes the story even better is that so many of these coins remain hidden in ordinary homes and in circulation today, because most people don't know that the details to watch are size of mint mark, strike sharpness, doubling effects, and original sheen. So next time you get change from the grocery store or break into a forgotten jar of coins at home, slow down and take a careful look at those quarters dated 1980. Turn them under a bright light, study that mint mark closely, examine Washington's profile, and don't ignore the gleam of the reverse. You could be just one coin away from turning what seemed like an everyday quarter into something worth celebrating, a historic treasure hiding in your very hands. Search through those rolls, check under couch cushions, and dive into those jars of spare change, because stories are real of people who have casually found these rare coins in circulation and been stunned when their discovery turned out to be priceless. Today we plunge into the captivating story of the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1974 with mint mark, a coin most people dismiss as common but which seasoned collectors hunt obsessively, because somewhere among those worn and tarnished quarters lies a spectacular rarity that has stunned the numismatic world with its blend of beauty, scarcity, and unexpected value. Keep your eyes open, because the journey of this coin will make you question every bit of spare change you've ever walked past, or spent without a second thought. The Washington quarter first appeared in 1932, honoring the 200th birthday of America's founding father, George Washington. By 1974, this iconic coin had been in the hands of millions of Americans, tucked into lunch money, tossed into fountains, slid into parking meters, and exchanged 1,000 times in grocery stores, gas stations, diners, and car washes. On its face stands Washington's noble profile, captured in sculptural detail that has endured for generations. Just above it shines the bold word liberty, tied forever to the ideals on which the nation was founded. Off to one side sits the motto "In God We Trust," and beneath Washington's chin is stamped the year 1974, setting this coin firmly in the year America was overcome with Watergate headlines, disco music, and a changing economic landscape. But to unlock the true potential of your 1974 quarter, your eyes must drift to one tiny detail: the mint mark, a miniature letter, D or S, indicating whether the coin was struck in Denver or San Francisco. That little mark, often missed by the untrained eye, holds the key to determining whether your coin is a collectible powerhouse or just another quarter ready for vending machines. On the reverse side, the design is no less impressive. A fierce bald eagle spreads its wings across the center with majestic power, talons grasping a cluster of arrows while resting atop an olive branch, the dual symbols of America's strength and peace. Surrounding the eagle are the proud inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum," with quarter dollar boldly anchoring the bottom rim. This is not just a coin, it's a miniature work of art traveling through time. Most 1974 Washington quarters spent decades in circulation, their surfaces dulled by pocket wear, their edges smoothed by contact with other coins, their striking details worn down from constant exchange. But a precious few were never used, perhaps lost in sealed mint sets, preserved lovingly in rolls, or forgotten inside safety deposit boxes, and these exceptional specimens remain in crisp, uncirculated condition today. When a coin from this year carries a strong mint mark, retains its brilliant mint luster, and possesses razor-sharp detail across the eagle's feathers and Washington's hair, it becomes highly desirable. Add to that the possibility of mysterious minting errors, double die strikes, repunched mint marks, rare planchet imperfections, and suddenly you have a coin that may be worth a small fortune. With every passing year, the number of high-grade 1974 mint mark quarters dwindles as many are scooped up by collectors and tucked away into permanent collections. A rising interest in American coin history has skyrocketed the value of these surviving gems. Auction houses have watched competitive bidders battle fiercely for top-condition coins from this year, especially those bearing striking errors or dramatic doubling of inscriptions. Coin grading companies have confirmed that only a very small number of surviving 1974 quarters meet that exceptional standard of preservation, making the hunt even more intense and thrilling for anyone passionate about finding treasure in unexpected places. So how do you catch lightning in a bottle? First, retrieve every 1974 quarter you own, collection jars, old pocket change, forgotten piggy banks, and rolls from your local bank teller. Flip each one under bright light and search for a glowing luster across its surface, full design detail in Washington's profile, strong strikes on the eagle's wing feathers, and a clear mint mark stamped firmly near the date. Even the tiniest doubling on numbers or letters could hint at an error variety worth many multiples over a normal coin. Handle with care, because that one quarter you almost spent on a soda might in reality be a secret superstar. All it takes is patience, curiosity, and a little knowledge to turn a casual coin search into a heart-pounding treasure hunt. People just like you have found these rare coins in the least expected places, tucked in desk drawers, hidden in inherited collections, or tossed into buckets of change headed to the bank. History whispers through every ridge and line of these quarters, but only a few will ever be discovered in time before they disappear forever into serious collections. One of them could be in your possession right now without you even realizing its worth. Today's thrilling journey takes us to the year 1979, a time when America was immersed in disco lights, space exploration, and economic turbulence, and tucked inside this iconic era is a coin that millions of people once spent without a second thought, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar with mint mark. But be warned, this is no ordinary coin story. Because somewhere out there among the countless worn and jingly quarters lies a hidden rarity from 1979 that has stunned collectors and auction houses with its unbelievable value, and if you're lucky enough to identify the right characteristics, you might just be holding a life-changing treasure in the palm of your hand. Gaze at the front of the 1979 Washington quarter and you'll see the powerful profile of George Washington himself, a design created by John Flanagan that has remained a symbol of unwavering American pride since 1932. The bold inscription Liberty arches above his head, while the year 1979 anchors the coin to a decade marked by cassette tapes, station wagons, and the early dawn of personal computers. Beside Washington's neckline rests the solemn national motto "In God We Trust." But it's the tiny mint mark located next to the ribbon of his ponytail that serves as the key to unlocking this coin's true potential. A crisp D reveals it came from the Denver Mint, an S signals San Francisco, and a P denotes Philadelphia, and these tiny letters are critically important to collectors, because each mint produced slightly different volumes and qualities of coins, setting the stage for remarkable scarcity in top-grade condition. Turn the coin over and prepare to admire one of the most iconic reverses in American coinage history. An American bald eagle in full magnificent display, wings stretched wide, standing proudly atop a fletching of arrows that symbolize readiness to defend the nation, while a wreath of olive branches below symbolizes peace. Around it swirl the inscriptions United States of America, the timeless E pluribus unum, and finally quarter dollar. It's a design so familiar that most people never pause to appreciate the artistry, but coin collectors know that subtle differences in how sharply these features are struck make all the difference between an ordinary quarter and a small fortune. During 1979, unimaginable millions of quarters were struck, tossed into cash registers, brought home in purses, lost between sofa cushions, and used at arcades and gas pumps. Most were beaten and battered by decades of circulation. Their edges wore down, their high-relief designs lost their crisp edges, and their gleaming original mint finish grew dull and scratched. Yet a tiny percentage was spared, preserved in untouched mint sets, forgotten in rolls, saved in bankers' vaults, or hidden by collectors decades ago. These few survivors now glow with eye-catching brilliance known as mint luster, showing fine details such as the strands of Washington's hair, the individual feathers of the eagle, and most importantly, a bold, clean mint mark that indicates the coin is from a lower production batch. Collectors become even more excited when they uncover rare varieties or errors in the 1979 mint-marked quarters. Double die obverse where inscriptions appear doubled, repunched mint marks where the tiny letter was accidentally struck twice, off-center strikes that give the coin an unusual look, or planchet flaws that result in missing metal at the edges. These bizarre mistakes are often regarded as unique works of art, quirky fingerprints of the minting machines, and because they're so rare, they command massive premiums. Add in brilliant uncirculated condition and it becomes obvious why collectors are willing to pay astonishingly high prices. Over the years, collecting frenzy for these pristine 1979 quarters has only intensified. Coin graders at major agencies have confirmed that very few mint-marked examples exist in the ultra-high grades coveted by top collectors. Those that do surface occasionally at auctions ignite bidding wars. Meanwhile, lucky individuals continue discovering extraordinary finds in old jars of coins, inherited stashes from parents or grandparents, or even right inside everyday change from banks, yard sales, and local businesses. That's why every serious collector, and every clever treasure hunter, keeps a sharp eye out for the magic combination of year 1979, a strong mint mark, untarnished surface, and crisp detailed strike.so. The next time you feel the weight of a quarter in your hand, let your heart beat a little faster before you spend it. Tilt it under the light. Examine George Washington's profile and look deeply at the location of the mint mark. If the shine still sparkles, the details leap out at you, and the mint mark is strong, you might want to slip that coin into a safe place instead of a vending machine. Because somewhere out there, possibly already in your possession or sitting unnoticed in a pile of spare change, is a 1979 Washington $quarter with mint mark that could transform your life completely. Today, we're stepping back into the unforgettable year of 1965, an era of rock and roll, civil rights, and space exploration, to uncover the astonishing secrets behind the United States of America Washington $quarter with mint mark. At first glance, this humble 25-cent piece may appear identical to any other quarter that jingles in your pocket, but lurking among these coins from 1965 are rare and valuable specimens so extraordinary that collectors are willing to pay a fortune for them. Get ready to discover how a coin you've possibly spent 1,000 times without thinking might actually be worth a king's ransom if it carries the right characteristics. On the front of the 1965 quarter, we see the timeless image of George Washington, standing proud in profile, a design created to honor the 200th anniversary of his birth. Long recognized as a symbol of strength and independence, his portrait is framed by the powerful word liberty across the top and the national motto "In God We Trust" just to the left. Beneath his chin rests the year 1965, but this date is more than just numbers, it marks a dramatic turning point in the history of U.S. coinage. Because of a nationwide shortage of silver, 1965 became the very first year America's quarters were made from a copper-nickel-clad combination instead of 90% silver, and this dramatic metal change confused many people at the time. As a result, certain transitional pieces, experimental trials, and mint mark varieties were accidentally released, and it is exactly these oddities that today's collectors chase with fierce determination. Turn the coin over and admire its powerful reverse design. A bald eagle stands with formidable wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows in its talons, symbols of vigilance and military readiness, yet resting peacefully upon an olive branch to show America's desire for peace. Above the eagle reads United States of America and the Latin motto E pluribus unum, while below shines $quarter. Many millions of these coins were produced, and most were used and abused in daily commerce, flipped for jukeboxes, slid across diner counters, stuffed into parking meters, and beaten down over decades of circulation. That's why most surviving 1965 quarters look worn and plain. However, a very small number remain in exceptional condition, retaining their original brilliance, razor-sharp detail, and rich mint luster, and a handful even come with unusual mint marks or striking errors that turn them into astonishing rarities. Savvy coin hunters know to check for unexpected mint marks on these 1965 quarters, especially those struck with small letters such as D or S when in theory, no mint marks were supposed to appear at all during transitional issues. Some of these coins are known to carry doubling on the date, repunched features, and off-center striking errors that make them one-of-a-kind collector's delights. If your coin glows under light, shows strong definitive lines along Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, and features an unusually clear mint mark when no mint mark should technically be present, you may be staring at an accidental release that escaped the mint's strict quality control. Collectors are willing to pay staggering premiums for such mint-marked varieties and errors, especially when preserved in uncirculated condition. Certified high-grade 1965 Washington quarters with blazing surfaces and dramatic anomalies have exploded in demand over recent years, making the search incredibly exciting. That's why every single one of us should be paying attention to the often ignored quarters we receive every day. Coin stores, auction houses, and grading services are witnessing a surge in interest as people rush to examine every 1965 quarter they can get their hands on, hunting bank rolls, visiting flea markets, scouring estate sales, and pouring through boxes of inherited change left behind by grandparents and great-uncles. The thrill lies in those tense moments when you rotate the coin under bright light and watch the surface reflect that original shine or glimpse a mint mark not supposed to be there. Many rare coin stories begin not with collectors, but with ordinary people doing laundry, cleaning out garages, or rolling spare change, until suddenly they discover an unexpected treasure that launches them into the thrilling world of numismatics. So before you drop your next quarter into a vending machine, take a closer look. Examine every detail from Washington's profile and date alignment to the clarity of edges and even the tiniest of letters near the ponytail ribbon that could reveal that legendary mint mark. Today we're traveling to the wild, colorful decade of bell-bottoms and classic rock, the 1970s, to reveal the astonishing secret behind one of the most surprising coins in American circulation, the 1970 United States of America Washington quarter dollar with mint mark. While most people would barely glance at a quarter before tossing it into a parking meter or a vending machine, true collectors know that some of these seemingly everyday coins can be worth far more than their face value, and the 1970 quarter is living proof that hidden treasures often come in the most unlikely disguise. Let's take a closer look at this legendary coin. On the obverse you'll find the heroic profile of George Washington, a symbol of the nation's founding spirit, gazing steadily into history. The word liberty crowns his head while the proud motto "In God We Trust" rests just to the left. Beneath his chin lies the all-important year 1970, a number that has become electric with excitement among collectors due to that year's unique production quirks and mysterious mint-marked varieties. Just beside the ribbon in Washington's hair sits a tiny mint mark, a barely noticeable letter such as D or S, which tells savvy treasure hunters exactly where the coin was produced. It is this little letter, overlooked by millions, that can turn a regular coin into a rare collectible worth a small fortune. Flip the coin over, and you'll see a stunning display of patriotic artistry. The reverse features America's majestic bald eagle with its wings stretched confidently, talons clasping a bundle of arrows as a signal of readiness to defend, yet perched on olive branches that represent peace. The words United States of America stretch proudly across the top edge, with the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, just below. At the bottom is the denomination quarter dollar. Every American has held this familiar design in their hands, but few realize that a rare handful of 1970 quarters, because of special minting characteristics and critical mint marks, have become some of the most valuable Washington quarters to ever circulate. What makes the 1970 mint mark quarters so incredibly prized? During this year, the U.S. Mint produced massive batches of coins, yet only a very small number were struck with exceptional quality and even fewer survived without scratches, dents, or wear. Even more exciting, a few rare error types slipped into circulation, including double die obverse where the date and letters appear faintly duplicated, repunched mint marks where the D or S was struck more than once, and off-metal strikings where quarters were accidentally made on foreign planchets. Each of these strange and wonderful mistakes has become a superstar in the coin world, driving collectors mad with desire whenever one surfaces. The challenge lies in spotting them. You must examine your coin under bright light, search for sharp details along Washington's hair curls, the beak of the eagle, and especially that mint mark tucked beside the date. If it looks bold, crisp, and unusually situated, you might be staring at a valuable mint error. Because these special coins were not intentionally released or easy to spot, many of them are still hiding in plain sight. They can be found in inherited coin collections, jars of change forgotten in the attic, rolls purchased from banks, or even right inside your daily pocket money. The key is knowing what to look for and refusing to overlook that familiar quarter just because it seems common. As years go by and more collectors discover the truth, the supply of high-grade 1970 quarters with rare mint mark characteristics continues to shrink, while demand skyrockets. Auction houses, coin grading services, and dealers regularly report intense interest in these pieces, and when a pristine, high-grade example with mint mark and strong eye appeal surfaces, bidders compete fiercely for the chance to own one. That's why coin aficionados around the world never waste a single opportunity to examine every 1970 quarter they come across. Perhaps you've already held one in your hand this week without knowing it. Maybe your grandmother has a tin of coins preserved from her grocery store days, or there's a jar somewhere in your kitchen filled with forgotten quarters, waiting patiently for discovery. Every small detail matters: the brightness of the field, the sharpness of the eagle's feathers, the neat crisp impression of the mint mark. Handle it gently, tilt it slowly in the light, and imagine for just a moment that the coin you're holding might not be worth only 25 cents after all. Now imagine how your heart would race if you discovered that your seemingly ordinary 1970 Washington quarter dollar, proudly stamped with a mint mark and preserved in stunning condition, wasn't just rare, but unbelievably valuable. Believe it or not, collectors have placed a staggering price tag on such a coin, valuing it as high as $76,000.